Hello everybody and welcome to the video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Hall of Heroes event. I know I'm late. I should have put this up on like Monday, but you know what? I was doing other things. I'm not going to say I'm busy, but I was doing other things, like being lazy. I know, it's better late than never, you know? So I'm going to be helping you guys pick a unit for the Hall of Heroes. As always though, I'm going to refer to the light darks because you can always get these main attribute units anytime during you playing the game, any day of the week, through mystical scrolls, right? But the LDs are much more difficult to obtain. I don't think I need to explain how. Light darks are obviously much more difficult to obtain. So we're going to be choosing out of the two of these units. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through each of these unit skills, kind of look at what their usage is. I'll tell you what I think about these units, and then hopefully I'll make the answer a little bit more clear for you guys, right? So let's start off with the Brownie Magician. So the first unit that we're going to be taking a look at is Gemini, the Light Brownie Magician. First thing to note is that he has a universal attack speed that you could use everywhere. He increases the attack speed of ally monsters by 19%. Pretty good. His skill one, not only that, look at his base speed, 106, it's not that bad. Skill 1 is called Run Run. Essentially, he bounces towards the enemy to attack and get another turn with a 20% chance. You could skill him up for extra damage, but I don't know, you might build him damage. I've taken a look at his kit before. I don't know if I'm building him damage if I use him or if I get him. But built-in violent procs essentially. Skill 2 attacks all enemies with giant orbs, decreasing their defense for 1 turn. This attack won't land as a glancing hit, and you could use this every 3 turns when fully skilled up. So a couple things about the skill, and in all of these Hall of Heroes videos, I try to be as critical as possible. I do not like that it's defense break for 1 turn, especially even after max skill ups, it's every 3 turns. Now, at a first glance, this kind of seems just straight up garbage, because the AoE defense break for 1 turn every 3 turns seems really bad, but you're not going to, I mean, you could use him as a beginner, especially if you're on an LD only account, but you're going to be using him like on late game builds. So you're going to have him on Violent Will, probably. So he has the Violent procs, and then he has a skill 1, which could proc him into another turn. So he's just going to be taking tons of turns, right? So you might be getting to the skill 2 a lot more often than you think. But, so I'm a little disappointed that it's only every one, the defense break is for 1 turn. If you at least put it to 2 turns, I'd be more happy with it. But the fact is that since he procs more turns here, since he violent procs on skill 1, plus you can build him on violent runes, it's not going to be that big of a deal, but I still don't like it. But another thing to kind of notice is that this attack won't land as a glancing hit. Not that it really matters, especially with the light dark unit. Like if that was on like a water unit or a wind unit or whatever, like a main attribute, that'd be fine, because the thing is, like with main attributes, they have a strong attribute and a weak attribute. So like if this was on like a water unit, a water strong attribute is they're strong against fire. So they're more likely to land their debuffs, they're more likely to land everything. But against wind units, water units suffer. They're more likely to glance, which glancing hits, for those of you who don't know, essentially when your unit does glance, they deal reduced damage. You don't crit. You cannot crit on a glance. And you do not land any debuffs, no matter the accuracy, no matter if it's guaranteed, quote unquote. I think glance takes priority over that. So you can mess up. So the fact that this won't glance is cool, but it's not cool really on Gemini, since it's like meh. But I don't know. I guess there are things to consider, like debuffs, because even if you got the glancing debuff, technically this attack won't land as a glancing hit. I don't know. I just don't think it's as useful on him as it is for other units, but it's still a nice added effect, right? But finally, his passive, Small Grudge, he removes 1 beneficial effect granted on the enemy when attacking. He increases the damage by 100% if your HP condition is worse than the enemy's HP condition. So his passive essentially states that whenever he attacks, whether it be skill 1 or skill 2, he strips the enemy. I think this is good, right? Obviously this is good. When you're looking at like an LD only account, this guy is amazing. I mean, you could use him on your Giants team if you wanted to. You could use him in Dragons if you wanted to. You can use him in quite a few places. But obviously in guild content, this is really good because you're going to be stripping the enemy's will or immunity off if they have will runes. You're going to... you have a constant strip. It's really good, right? But the last part, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if people are taking advantage of this. It increases the damage by 100% if your HP condition is worse than the enemy's HP condition. I don't know if people are building on damage. I wouldn't. I don't know. But I don't know. This guy's kit looks really simple, but it's not bad, right? I don't want to rate him yet. I want to rate him after we look at both units. But obviously I can see this guy being used in guild content a lot. If you're on an LD only account, you're going to use him in... You're going to try, at least, to use him in some PvE scenarios. He's going to proc a lot. I think if you were to use him as a beginner, Despair Energy, Speed HP or Speed HP Defense. But you're going to most likely use him in late game on Violent Will, maybe Nemesis. But you could also destroy. You could Revenge Destroy. Whatever. He's so simple. I am glad, kind of. But cleave everything. Cleave. He's a cleave unit. Is he? So oh my god, yours is actually pretty fast. I like it. Despair Fight. Tons of speed, tons of HP, tons of accuracy. I like to see it. HP, accuracy. Oh wow, that's where you're... I mean, hey, if you got enough HP in other places, go ahead, get accuracy slot 6. For his artifacts, I don't know, you're obviously going to want to aim for accuracy on just skill 2. And then whatever else, I don't really care. Speed up effect. And then obviously, I guess it's like you'd want accuracy on skill 2. And then everything else is just reduce the damage taken. I mean, he's not really as artifact hungry as other units are. But, no one else has built him. First of my 2 LD lightnings, blah, 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 blah. He said, time to KMS. Can someone shut up and ruin him so I know what to do here? Brother, come on, use your brain. So, okay, I want to mention this comment. So, the third skill should steal a beneficial effect instead of just removing. I agree with that. I like that a lot more. But, okay. Let's see if the dot is... Okay, nope. That rune is awful. Okay. No one is using him. I guess I'm going to have to make a video on him eventually. Usage, Siege Battle. Obviously, guild content. Siege Battle. Arena. Yep. And that's pretty much where he's PvP. But, again, if you're an LD only account, you can use him in Giants. Statistics, Despair Focus, Despair, Swift. Yeah, Swift can work if you really need the speed, but Despair. Obviously, use him on Violent. I guess no one's used him recently. I swear to God, people use him. HP 8. Yeah, HP or defense or accuracy. You're going to build him tanky. Honestly, this guy has potential. I don't know how he is on paper. Or I know how he is on paper, but I don't know how he is in action, right? I would like to make a video on him later into the week. So we'll definitely do that. And I think my rating might change of him. But at the moment, just from what I'm seeing on paper with Gemini, I think Gemini, I think he's just... This might be out of nowhere, but I'm going to give him like an 8 out of 10. I think he's a really good support unit. I mean, the fact of the matter is that he removes beneficial effects. He's AoE defense breaking. He's always removing beneficial effects. And when he doesn't have this up, which he won't have it up for at least 3 turns, he has a chance to violent proc on skill 1. I think you should build him on violent runes. I think he's an 8 out of 10 on violent runes. On any other runes, he's going to be like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. But I think for his max potential, 8 out of 10, right? But let's move on to the Kobold. Here we have Bering. Ooh, the Dark Kobold. He has an accuracy lead for dark units by 50%. So that's pretty good. His speed is awful. Anything under 100, it's awful. Skill 1, attacks the enemy with a bomb. This damage increases by 15% for each harmful effect on the enemy. so you can get out some damage, I guess, on this. Usually with this, I need to look at it in the skill preview, but usually with these, like the skill 1s, they do multiple hits. Or am I wrong? Anyways, skill 2 attacks all enemies 3 times with a loud bomb. Each attack has a 25% chance to deal continuous damage for 2 turns, and the school cooldown time of the skill will be decreased by 1 turn each whenever the enemy are conflicted with continuous damage. Every 3 turns? So, I don't know if I just had like a stroke while reading that. So essentially, AoE, multi-hit, deals continuous damage. If the enemy has continuous damage on them, or if they're inflicted with it, so if he lands a continuous damage, this skill's cooldown is reduced by 1. Which, obviously in places like TOA, if you decide to use him there, it's going to be really big, right? Because, here's the thing, with units that do continuous damage, I mean, they're after the reloaded update, dot units, like, the areas in which you're using them have been limited because everywhere in Kairos you're not using them there because any of the Abyss stages, which is what you're wanting to try and farm, you can't do dots to the boss. So TOA is really where you're going to be using this guy a lot, it seems like. Or Labyrinth, maybe. But for a dot unit, he seems to be really good. To be able to decrease the cooldown of this skill, you're going to have this up a lot. But you're going to want to speed tune him to be slower than all of your other dot units. But yeah. So faster than Tattoo, because I know you're going to have Tattoo. But slower than units like Sath and Melia and whoever else you're using. But skill 3 attacks all enemies with the bomb that blocks all magic powers. Blocks all magic powers. Is this a blocks beneficial effect? Whatever. Removing 1 beneficial effect on each enemy and denying the usage of all skills with cooldowns for 2 turns. Passive skills excluded every 4 turns. So AoE damage that strips. So AoE strip and prevents enemies from using skills excluding that of passive skills. For where you're using him, you're going to want to go Despair on this guy. Despair, you're going to want to kind of focus on being tanky with this guy. Be fast, but not too fast. You're going to want him to move like 2nd or 3rd. In my opinion, like if you're going like with like, I know a lot of you guys use like Thrain, like you might have Thrain, the Dark Witch, Sath, and then like Tattoo as like your units, or Rika, I don't know, like as your dot team for TOA. If you're bringing him into TOA, I think he could be used for TOA for your forever team if you want it to. But have him on Despair, have him slower though. Like your Rika or your Sath, whomever it is, they need to be faster than him for the skill 2 to really proc off. So if you speed tune him right, and if you build him correctly, which is going to be tanky and fast and accurate, I think he also is going to be really good. I also want to say an 8 out of 10, but you go either Violent or Despair. I think Despair, I don't think he needs to go on Violent, but strips and then prevents enemies from using their skills, which that's actually really, no, that is really good. Especially considering like some of the units that have revives in TOA, you're preventing them from activating it. Like Vanessa, she's gonna have it because I believe Vanessa, that's her passive. But like other units, like I believe it's the Wind Death Knight that has the revive. That's an active skill. It's like you can prevent that from happening. So he's really good actually. I actually like him. I'll go 8 out of 10 for now. They're both kind of tied. But now Alex could have 3, LOL. Apparently Alex left the game. Oh, poor Alex. This was made in 2015. Who is Alex? Okay. Look at this brain rot right here. Pair it with Rika and Sierra bombastic side-eye criminal offensives. Okay, shut up. Now, who is Alex? Man, F Alex. There's nobody who's... Okay, let's see. Oh. So this is Alex. Alex must have left the game. Okay. No one's built him. No one's built any of these Hall heroes. Usage, Siege. People are using him in Siege. Why? I guess probably because it's skill 3. and then he could just spam that skill 2 with dot. So, I mean, no one's using him. What is this? What is this team? What are these teams? Okay, we're not going to talk about these teams. We're not going to... Siege Battle and Arena. Obviously. I think he's TOA material. Statistics, Despair, yep. Swift, maybe. I think he's Despair or Violent or Swift. One of those three with energy or focus. Speed, HP or defense. I don't know why there's attack percent. And HP or defense. And or accuracy if you feel the need to. Okay. Let's just go back. What the heck, man? You want to know what's a little disappointing about recording these? Is that a lot of these units no one's using. I mean, a lot of people might have them, but they just don't use them. No one is ready to use them, whether it's because people don't know how to build them or whatever. I don't know. I wish people would just kind of get a little bit creative and attempt to build them. How would you think? Like, where do you think you would use him? Right? Like, just read his skills. Where would you use him? Okay, you're going to use him there. You're going to use him in TOA. How would you build an AoE unit in TOA? Despair. Like, come on. Anyways, here's the thing. With Gemini. Gemini is going to be used in guild content and potentially arena. If you're on an LD only account, he can be used in some of the Kairos dungeons for your defense break and your strip, especially like in places like dragons potentially. But he's going to be mainly guild content. And you will probably use him forever once you build him. He's probably not going to be your first pick, but he's definitely he might not be your last pick either. I think he sits in the middle. He's not terrible, but he's not crazy. So guild content. Cobalt Bombers TOA. I think. Oh my gosh, I don't know. I'm having a hard time. I'm not having a hard time because they're both super amazing units. I think I'm having a hard time because one unit is super bland but effective, and then this guy, his skills are like a bit complicated because AoE, multi-hit, dots, and the skill cooldown time of this skill or decreases whenever the enemies are inflicted with continuous damage. So it's like he could spam that skill, which that's insane. And then skill 3 blocks or strips and then prevents enemy from using skills. I think, in my opinion, I would go for Gemini. But it is by like a close second that I would have probably, I might on a different account choose this guy. The Bering. But because it's like Bering, he's interesting for TOA. I think he'd be a very interesting unit for TOA. And then even a bit of guild content. I mean, you could potentially find a way to use him in guild content because AoE strips and then prevents the enemy from using skills. And this is really effective with the unit like Riley. If you got to think about that. It's really good for shutting down units like Riley. But the problem is skill 2 for him is not really too useful outside of like TOA. I mean, it's kind of useful anywhere really because it is still dealing damage, but it's not like big damage. His skill 3 is really crazy in my opinion. Skill 1 I don't care about. The Gemini procs turns. I'm going to pick the Gemini because I feel like that potential for the Gemini, if you build him correctly, is there. He's going to go absolutely nuts. But if you decide to go with Bering, I can't fault you for that either. I think this is a tough choice because like one unit's very good, but the other unit, while being simple, is also very good. I'm going with Gemini. If you go Bering, by all means. If you think that my choice is wrong, I'd like to hear what you have to say in the comments. And I might be with you. I might agree with you. But I'm going with Gemini. I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope I helped you. I don't think I helped you at all. I think I just confirmed how hard the decision is. But yeah, we'll make a video on this guy probably tomorrow, maybe. Who knows? I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.